Well, everyone was waiting to see if South Park would go there, and they did. After weeks of rumors and anticipation, South Park finally tackled Israel and Palestine.
I'm asking, why did you bet yes that my mom would strike Gaza?
The show also revealed the true villain of season 27 in a twist that actually caught me off guard, although it makes perfect sense given the real world context. Matt and Trey just gave us one of the funniest episodes this season that still leaves us with a lot to chew on. So let's waste no time and break down conflict of interest.
Sheila, how have you been feeling about the current situation in Gaza?
What?
The episode opens up with a pretty good bit that actually sets the stage for the B story as a scout named Kipling arrives to inform the class about Weebelows, which, fun fact, is exclusively for 4th graders. Everyone struggles to figure out if Kipling is a boy or a girl, much like how this episode poses the question of if Trump-Vance's impending butt baby is going to be a boy or a girl.
Well, now they also allow girls, and I myself, as a Weebelow.
Both of these questions go without a solid answer, which in itself could be a clue, but I think it's very possible that Matt and Trey have no clue where they're going with this plotline and decided to keep it ambiguous. The mystery of Kipling's gender leads to the kids placing bets on a prediction market app, revealing that the student body has gotten very invested in gambling. Look, gambling apps are everywhere, and they're being pushed onto everyone. So although everyone wanted this episode to cover Kirk, I'm happy they went this route, as I actually think it's a topic that's long overdue. This is one of those times I'm really glad they didn't stick to reality and instead made the betting app accessible to kids, as you had to be 21 to use them in real life. But here, the kids are just glued to the app and no one bats an eye. I always think South Park is at its best when it focuses on the kids and the adults. A healthy balance is key, and I think in that regard, everyone was handled masterfully here. We could have easily had Randy be the one hooked onto these apps, and Sharon lectures him about why they're a toxic money sink, and he doesn't listen and gets involved in more insane bets, which would have been fine, but instead, they use this setup to finally dip their toes in the very divisive pool that is talking about Israel's genocide in Gaza. Really, the episode is touching on the impact that Israel's atrocities have on Jews living in America, as Kyle discovers that kids are betting on whether or not his mom will destroy a Palestinian hospital, making this bet for no other reason than she's Jewish. It's a bet made at Kyle's expense simply because of his ethnicity and because of a terrible situation that he has no control over. Kyle tries to get to the bottom of this and figure out who created the bet, but the culprit is never revealed. You'd think it'd be Cartman, especially as he's in favor of stirring the pot to manipulate the outcome of the bet, but his reaction at the top of the episode feels genuine.
I'm not even betting on it. It's 9 to 1 odds your mom won't do it. Those are terrible odds.
I definitely don't think he's responsible. He's just capitalizing on Kyle's misfortune. Maybe they're leaving this open-ended for later episodes in the season, but I think it's likely that whoever made it doesn't really matter, as the effects that it has on Kyle are the same regardless. Kyle's quest brings him to Jimmy, and I honestly thought they were gonna allude to Kimmel through him, given that, well, he's a comedian named Jimmy, but instead, we just got this pretty solid bit out of him.
I told a joke about Gaza on a Zoom meeting yesterday, and nobody laughed. I guess it's not even remotely funny.
This reveals how Matt and Trey feel about the situation and why this episode is focusing on the social ramifications of Israel's actions as opposed to commentating directly on the matter. I also don't think Matt and Trey want people to use South Park as their moral compass or vindicator. They know that what's happening is horrible and they're trusting the viewer to recognize it too. Kyle vocalizing his frustrations over the bet causes more students to push his buttons and bet on his mom destroying a hospital. He's fallen victim to rage bait. Now most kids are doing this because they simply think Kyle getting worked up is really funny and the bet is nothing more than a game to them. They know it's a ridiculous notion, but seeing Kyle take it so seriously is only enabling the school to keep it going. Hell, even the adults are in on it for shits and giggles, with the moms of South Park egging on Sheila until she's on the defensive and affirms that it's not Jews versus Palestine, it's Israel versus Palestine.
It's not Jews versus Palestine, it's Israel versus Palestine! Here we go with the Palestinian stuff again.
Dude, look at Laura just smirking away as Linda starts to spiral. It's diabolical. Sharon truly is the only normal adult in this town. Meanwhile, Cartman recognizes the true power of rage baiting, how it can be monetized, and used to influence the bet through a conflict of interest, encouraging Kyle to fight against anti-Semitism while also spreading said anti-Semitism through the school. Cartman here being a very on-the-nose stand-in for a lot of media companies in the political world, making everyone hate each other so that they can make a buttload of money. It's all about profit, baby. But he starts to believe that it's sincerely going to blow up up in his face as he falls under the impression that Sheila might actually order a drone strike, but in reality, she has other plans. And the kids only realize how corrupt the app is when the bet is taken away from them. This episode also takes the piss out of Donald Trump Jr. and Brendan Carr, the latter of whom being included in this episode as a response to Jimmy Kimmel's suspension on television. Brendan Carr is the chairman of the FCC, which has authority over media like local TV and radio stations. He replied to actor Kevin McHale, insinuating that Kimmel's suspension was a part of Project 2025's plan to control free speech. I assume that this was the reason that the episode got pushed back a week, as they originally had someone else in Carr's place, or only had Don Jr. around, and decided to add Carr in as a giant fuck you to him. As for Don Jr., Kyle tries to get the bet pulled from the app by contacting the strategic advisor, introducing the eldest Trump child, who's a hybrid of the show's 2D paper cutouts, and the real-life photos they've been using for characters like Trump and JD. His body and most of his face is cartoony, while his hair, forehead, and teeth are live-action photos. His mouth almost never closes, and when it does, it's kinda just the top and bottom lips colliding together. It's super unsettling. The joke here, though, is that Jr. is multitasking numerous jobs, and he's pretty useless at all of them. He has the power to take down the bet all along, yet jumps through so many hoops just to make it happen. This season recognizes how effective it is to put politicians in cartoony situations while putting religious figures like Jesus and Satan in mundane situations. Watching Jesus pick up more jobs around the school as everything is getting replaced with religion is hilarious. Acting as both the PE teacher and hall monitor, telling kids to put their phones away got a pretty good laugh out of me. Same thing with Satan knitting. I also like the ballsy resolution of Kyle and Sheila's storyline, as Sheila travels all the way to Israel to tell off Netanyahu personally. I mean, this is the woman who waged war on Canada. Are we really surprised? Sheila absolutely destroys this man, telling him that he's using Judaism as a shield for his heinous crimes, and that he's making life for Jews miserable. And it's not coming from a place of, what about me, in response to innocent lives getting slaughtered. It's coming from a place of, hey dude, you're making the world a horrible place to live in for everyone. No one is benefiting from all this death and destruction except for you, and you're effectively dragging us down with you. Considering Matt Stone's Jewish, I think this speech came from the bottom of his heart.
Just who do you think you are? Killing thousands, then wrapping yourself in Judaism like it's some shield from criticism.
But let's switch gears and talk about the big twist at the end of this episode that's found in its B story. As it turns out, Vance is plotting on Trump's downfall. He wants to be president and believes that the baby is a threat to what's owed to him. So he hits Trump with the reality that bringing a baby in this world means leaving his current lifestyle behind him. This paves the way for some full-on Looney Tune shenanigans, right down to the whimsical music, as Trump tries to get the baby killed without taking the route of an abortion, as he's well aware that he has plenty of Christian supporters who would be devastated if he killed the baby he had with the actual devil, you know, from like the Bible. But in a tragic twist of fate, all of Trump's traps for Satan evade the Prince of Darkness and instead end up hitting Brendan Carr, who's trying to talk to Trump about the betting app. Trump screaming out Carr's full name as he falls into a trap killed me every single time.
No, Brendan Carr, don't! Nah, Brendan Carr, don't do it!
Better.
No, fuck, Brendan Carr!
All of this pretty amounts to saying Brendan Carr is a Nazi who's full of shit, as he ends up hospitalized and posed as if he's, giving his heart out to the crowd. After getting covered in cat litter that was meant to fall on Satan to infect him with toxoplasmosis, Carr is at risk of losing his freedom of speech. Again, I don't think Matt and Shay were happy about his words to Kimmel. A bedridden Carr is then interrogated by Vance, who goes mask off and tells Carr that they can do this the easy way or the hard way, referencing Carr's own comments towards ABC after suggesting that Kimmel's show should be suspended, something that rattled everyone, as it felt like we were dangerously close to violating the First Amendment, hence why Carr is about to lose his freedom of speech here. It's also funny Vance is the one interrogating him about this, when on the day of this episode's premiere, he claimed that Carr was just joking about those remarks. Vance wanting to become president and the baby somehow being a threat to all of this, despite none of Trump's other kids being a factor, feels like an exaggerated take that Vance is hoping Trump is going to kick the bucket in real life before he can finish his term, which would allow Vance to become the 48th president of the United States without having to run for election. The world's most bullied president. Which makes it feel like Matt and Trey are in the camp of, holy crap, our president is old as dirt, and almost certainly isn't going to make it to 2028. And they're turning that prediction into one of their most most unhinged overarching narratives in a while by turning the presidency into a Game of Thrones. Vance as a twist villain is actually really effective because his design is just so small and unintimidating that him being anything other than a henchman blows my damn mind. I truly didn't see it coming, and I'm excited to see where they take this development. I fully welcome Vance as the true villain of South Park Season 27, and I wonder where they're gonna take the baby plotline. Will the baby live? Will it end up being like born non-binary and really put MAGA's values to the test? Or will Vance get his way and become president by the end of the season? And since the end of the season is December, will the world manage to match that development in real life? Crazier things have already happened this year. But as always, these are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours. How did you feel about this episode? Do you think they pivoted away from talking about Kurt, or was this always the plan? Personally, I think it was, as they would have been working on this episode before his death, and they just decided to change things around at the last second to poke on Carr. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going on Twitter and Instagram at AllTrickVox and at Roundtable Vids. If you enjoyed this video, please sure to like and subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on so you never miss a South Park upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace!